Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
All right, today we're diving into something that affects millions, but, it often gets hidden in plain sight. We're talking about depression in older adults. It's a really serious medical condition, but because it can look so different later in life, it just frequently goes completely unseen and untreated. So let's kick things off with a question I bet a lot of you have thought about.
Yeah, is feeling this way just part of getting older? I mean, it's a question so many of us ask, either about ourselves or about our loved ones, right? You see all these big life changes happening, retirement, new health problems, losing friends, and it's just so easy to think, well, of course they're feeling down. That's just natural. But is it really?
And the answer to that is a huge, resounding no. We have to get this straight right from the get-go. Depression is absolutely not a normal part of aging. It's a treatable illness. And honestly, this idea that it's just a part of getting old is probably the single biggest reason people don't get the help they need. So that brings us to the big question, why? Why is this struggle so often an unseen one? Well, there are a few key reasons why depression is so frequently missed in older adults. And really, understanding them is the first step toward actually making a difference.
Okay, first things first, let's be super clear about what we're actually talking about here. Depression is a medical condition. It messes with how you think, how you feel, how you live your day-to-day life. It is not, I repeat, not a sign of weakness or some kind of character flaw. And you have to remember, many older adults grew up in a time where mental health just wasn't talked about. It was heavily stigmatized. So for them, it can be incredibly tough to even admit these feelings, let alone ask for help.
Okay, another huge reason depression gets missed is that the signs, well, they aren't always what you'd expect. We have this picture in our heads of what depression looks like, but in older adults, it often goes way beyond just feeling sad.
And this comparison right here really highlights the difference. It's fascinating, isn't it? A younger person might be more likely to say, I feel so sad or I feel hopeless. But an older adult, they might show up at the doctor's office with purely physical complaints. They'll talk about aches and pains, being tired all the time, or not sleeping well. And you can see how easily those symptoms get chalked up to other health issues or, you guessed it, just getting old.
Now, of course, the classic emotional signs can definitely still be there. A big one to watch for is losing interest in hobbies and activities that used to bring them so much joy. That's a huge red flag. And really, pay attention to irritability or agitation. Sometimes depression doesn't look like sadness at all. It looks like being grouchy or constantly on edge.
And here are those physical signs we were just talking about. Things like unexplained aches, digestive problems, or just a profound lack of energy. These are incredibly common. And it's so easy to see how a doctor could end up chasing down all these different physical symptoms, never realizing that the root cause might actually be a mood disorder.
Oh, and the cognitive signs are especially tricky. Things like memory problems or confusion in an older person immediately make our brains jump to one conclusion: dementia. But it is so important to realize that depression can also seriously cloud someone's thinking and memory. Figuring out which is absolutely crucial for getting the right kind of help. So, what's really going on here? What causes depression to take root in later life?
Well, it's almost never just one single thing. It's usually a complex mix of what's going on in their bodies, their minds, and their environment all at once.
This table does a great job of laying out some of the most common triggers. And when you look at them together, you can really see how they're all connected. I mean, think about it. Living with chronic pain every single day is emotionally draining. Grieving the loss of a spouse or close friends is just profound. And social isolation, which can easily happen after retirement or when it gets harder to get around, that's a massive factor. It's often not just one of these things, but a pileup of these challenges all at once. Okay, so after talking about all the challenges, let's shift gears and focus on the most hopeful part of this whole story, the pathways to recovery. And the great news here is that depression is highly treatable at any age. There is so much that can be done to help someone feel better. A lot of times, recovery can start with some really practical, accessible changes to your lifestyle. Things like regular physical activity. And we're not talking about running a marathon here. Even gentle things like walking or gardening can give your mood a huge boost.
Sticking to a daily routine can provide structure, and finding ways to engage with the community that fights off the isolation and brings back a sense of purpose. Then there's psychotherapy, or talk therapy, which is incredibly effective. For example, a therapy like CBT, that's cognitive behavioral therapy, is all about helping people spot and change those negative thought patterns that keep them stuck. It basically gives them a toolkit to manage their symptoms and build up their resilience. It's often used right alongside other treatments. Medication can also be a really important part of the puzzle. Antidepressants, especially the more modern ones like SSRIs, can be a game changer. They're generally considered safe for older adults. But, and this is a big but, it is absolutely essential that they're prescribed and monitored very carefully by a doctor to manage any side effects or interactions with other meds. Now, for those really severe cases where other treatments just haven't worked, there's something called modern electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT. I know it sounds intense and it has this crazy reputation from old movies, but it's nothing like that anymore. It's a safe procedure done under anesthesia, and it can be a truly life-saving option for people who are really suffering. Okay, so let's get practical. What can you actually do if you're worried about someone in your life? This part is so important because honestly, family and friends play a huge role in spotting the signs and encouraging someone to get help. This 5-step guide here is a fantastic roadmap. It all starts with just observing. Notice those changes in mood, appetite, or interests. Then step 2 is to talk. Start a conversation, but do it with compassion, with patience, and without any judgment. Step 3, assist. Even just helping to schedule a doctor's appointment can feel like a monumental task for someone who's struggling, so offer to help. Step 4 is all about support. Offer a listening ear, help reduce their isolation, just be there. And finally, step 5, educate yourself. The more you learn about depression, the better you can understand what they're going through and fight that stigma. Believe me, your support can make all the difference in the world. And at the end of the day, this is the message that matters most. Hope and healing are possible. Depression is not a life sentence. With the right diagnosis, the right treatment, and the right support system, older adults can absolutely recover and get back to enjoying their lives. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. For all of us, how can we build a world where no one has to suffer in silence? It really starts with us, with recognizing the signs, with challenging the old stigmas, and with reaching out to people who might be struggling. Because mental health matters at every single stage of life.
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.